adjustment, 4 tires for Kevin Harvick. Marty?
Take a look as boy Kevin Harvick is going to lose a lot of spots here, 6 to be exact. And there, Allgaier picks up 7, but how about Kyle Busch? There he is in third with the Nationwide Insurance race off pit road.
As he taking 2 tires, a couple, 3 or 4 cars there taking no tire.
Yeah, Allgaier none, and Kevin Harvick lost all of those spots because he took 4 tires there, but he needed to do that so they can figure on the adjustments they need to make with this car because it's not of his liking as they get fresh tires on it.
Well, we talked about what Lee Cunningham's going to be doing on pit road for the 99. Let's go over the wall with him.
And 1 can of gas. Here we go.
Doesn't say a lot, but he got the job done. Nicely done, Lee. Our first 93 laps last season were green. This year we make it 70 before our first yellow.
You've got 3.
Under the first caution of tonight's 300-mile NASCAR Nationwide Series race. Caution came out after the 27 brushed the wall at lap 69. An exchange of pit stops has set up a little bit interesting strategy situation with Brad Keselowski holding the lead off the set of stops. The caution giving the first car not on the lead lap, Brendan Gaughan's 62 machine, the Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass. He gets to come back around and rejoin the lead lap hunt. Quick impression on what you've seen so far, Rusty and Brad?
Well, right now that was a really long green flag run the very first time, around between 56 and 60 laps. Now these guys went out and run about 14 laps after that. It gives them a second chance to come in and readjust the car if the adjustment they made wasn't correct. So I know the drivers are liking it. Now McMurray, this is a guy that's really liking it. He's got himself back up there pretty close to the front after that big penalty. 14th right now. He's got he's a little closer now.
Yeah, David Ruderman made a big run. He's got himself up to 6th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. maintains that 6th, 7th place position. He's doing a great job. Kevin Harvick had a horrendous pit stop. Cost him a lot of time. He's all the way back to 9th.
Let's talk about Harvick. We saw some guys take fuel only, saw some guys take 2 tires, but Andy Harvick's team chose to go with 4, and he's going to find himself back in 9th place.
Yeah, Alan, you see right here the difference between an average pit stop at best here for Harvick and a great pit stop for Logano. A little bit everywhere, but you see the right side about a second, 1.7 seconds. You see here when they make this pit stop, doesn't look like any disaster happens. It's just a little bit everywhere. You see it on the right side. Right front tire changer struggle just a little bit with the lug nuts coming off. A little behind the rear tire changer here. You don't see anything obvious, but it's just a little here, a little there, and it really adds up. And you saw he lost 6 spots coming off pit road.
NASCAR officials have just added 1 more lap. We've found a piece of debris out there. It gives us a chance to talk about the fact we had 16 wave rounds. 7 of those will go back on the lead lap. And you just have to trust us on that. And we also have bad news to report for Ryan Newman fans. He is out of the race. What's happened, Doc?
Marty to climb out of the Chevy back here. Ryan, what happened?
Something broke in the left front suspension. Not really sure what, but it's unfortunate. We're not running for points. We lost a lap or 2 there if we were trying to fix it. So head back to the bus and have ice cold Coca-Cola.
All right, Ryan Newman having a good run while it lasted, but out early here at Chicagoland. Marty?
Well, in his 3 starts in the number 1 this season, he had top 10 finishes in all 3 of those, so that streak is snapped. Now, we talked about the penalty for Kyle Busch, and he is now 3rd. Let's listen in on his radio.
All right, man. You were like 58 coming in, and then the next speed line, they got you at 59, and then leaving when you pass that car, they got you at 64.
Yeah, I knew I was busted coming in, so I just sped out. It looked like you were doing about 90 at the cone, so 59 ain't bad.
I think that tells you how good of a night these guys are really having with the race car, that they can joke about the pit lane speeding violation that they had to endure. But Kyle Busch likes the car, and they just made some changes on it with going back to an air pressure adjustment from the previous stop. So they went back on that air pressure adjustment, and Kyle said he thinks it's actually handling better now. Before that yellow, they were about 0.3 faster than the leader. So the 18, he's not in the lead now, but he's coming.
That's a scary thought for everybody else. Let's set it for you. It is Carl Edwards up front, and Brad Keselowski, I should say, with Edwards second, Allgaier third, Kyle Busch fourth, David Rudiman fifth, Logano sixth, Paul Menard's moved up to seventh, Ricky Stenhouse eighth, Colin Brown ninth, and Kevin Harvick rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, it's kind of funny listening to that radio transmission with the Kyle Busch, but you know, that was actually a pretty tactical move to go ahead and speed out because he knew he was going to have to make that pass-through penalty, so try to gain a little bit of time as he's leaving so he doesn't give up too much when he does make that pass-through penalty.
Pace car is pulled off, getting a little squeeze job right at the front of the field, as it is Keselowski on the high side as the race leader. That's the side he picks. We're back to green flag racing at Chicagoland.
You can see Brad spun the tires a little bit. Doesn't look like it's going to hurt him too much here, but Carl able to hang with him.
Well, it looked like even if he does spin the tires, he still has to be the first car across that start-finish line. So I guess Carl would have to kind of keep pace with him until they do that.
Down the backstretch, trying to make it 3 wide further back. Reed Sorensen was in that mix. Here comes the 66 of Wallace. Whoa! McMurray comes down. Whoa, that was close. Meanwhile, up front, here's what's going on as Carl goes low. Here comes 18 of Kyle Busch trying to squeeze in between. Brad Keselowski goes to the front.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot more intense racing right now. We've got a lot cooler racetrack. These guys have been able to work on their race cars, are handling better. 3 wide.
Well, and the best news is for these guys going down into 3, they no longer have to deal with the sun. Further back, Trevor Bayne. And there is Leffler in the 38, Paul Menard. Also the McMurray car at 88 right there, and Brian Scott. Ooh, and right behind them, that was looked like the 66 of Stephen Wallace getting a little bit loose. Battle for third, meanwhile up front with Edwards and Logano.
See, Logano, he was trying to make the pass there on the inside. He hit that bump, and it caused him to lose traction for just a second. Allowed Carl to come back on the outside, get a nice run off the corner.
While these guys fight it out, you can see the 10, David Rudiman. Remember, he did not qualify well, as he's got Kevin Harvick all over him. Well, what's the story on the 10, Doc?
Marty, you noted it right there. He did not qualify well. Started back in 29, but quietly by lap 38, he was in the top 10. Came in, had a 2-tire change, air pressure adjustment, tight on the bottom of the racetrack. But Rudiman said this morning before qualifying, we won't be good for 2 laps, but as the race goes on and the sun goes down, we'll get better and better. We got something for him tonight, and indeed, he's moving toward the front.
And remember at the beginning of the broadcast, we talked about the fact that the 4 times, as you see this action between the 2 teammates from Rusty Wallace Racing and Colin Brown. And now let's go back up. We'll finish that thought later because we got a battle for the race lead. Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski. Kyle has got the car underneath him tonight. There he goes.
Yeah, the thing that's so impressive, and we talked about this at the beginning of the show, but just heard them reporting that they are continuing to work on this car to make it better. And we're far and away better than any other car on the racetrack before that.
Yeah, it's like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, it's hard to work on your car a lot of times when you are up front, you're leading a lot of laps and races as they do, but this team really does do that. I mean, they don't sit on anything. If they feel like they can make the car better, doesn't matter if they got a 12-second lead or they won 12 races, they're going to keep making this car better.
Well, Keselowski's got to feel a little lonely right now. He looks to the front, he's got Joe Gibbs Racing. He looks in this mirror, he's got Joe Gibbs Racing. Logano's all over him in the back. Pulls away a little bit now down the back stretch. Gets a little bit of breathing room. 4th place is Carl Edwards. There's Harvick sneaking in to the picture on the right side for 5th. There they are.
Yeah, if you remember, Brad Keselowski was a little bit better, quite a bit better actually than Logano in that first run. But this is the difference you see whenever they make these adjustments and the temperature starts changing on this track.
Getting word that Paul Menard may have a tire going down on that 98. Jamie, what's the story?
Well, it's a shame. Paul Menard was moving forward. Marty mentioned him in the top 10, but he says, I have a vibration. We either have a wheel going down or it's loose. He said, when I turn the wheel, it's lazy. They told him to come now and pit. Let's just try to take care of the problem and put 4 on.
On the left, you can see the 4 cars behind him. That is Stephen Wallace, Brendan Gaughan, and also Colin Brown and Brian Scott.
Yeah, we heard about, you heard Paul Menard saying that he turns that wheel and it's a lazy feel and the vibration. Those are really 2 signs of a loose wheel. And I don't know about you, Dale, but that, when my driver says that, I feel like I need to get him on pit road.
Yeah, you need to get there, and these guys right behind him would hope that he gets there too if that is the situation. But yeah, that's not going to be something that gets better. It's only going to create a huge problem.
Menard has only 2 top 10 finishes in the last 7 races. Remember, he started the beginning of the year pretty impressively. As we go back to the battle right now between Keselowski and Logano, they are 1 second behind race leader Kyle Busch.
You can see Keselowski get a little bit loose right there. It's going to give Logano a chance to come to the inside and see if he can take over that second spot.
Can Logano make it a Joe Gibbs 1-2 punch? Here he comes, and yes, he might, as he can seal the deal going through the corner, and yes, clears him.
Yes, like I said earlier, I felt like Joey Logano was kind of doing time to start as the race got started. I felt like he was searching around for the right place.